Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We're so glad you're here, and we are grateful that you chose to spend your time with us today. I want to invite you to use the chat as we're waiting for others to join the call before we get started. Um, just throw in the chat your name and where you're calling in from. And then we know that this is such a diverse and global community. So if you can put in the chat what brought you here today, it could be, that you know an alumna who went through the program, was recommended to you by a colleague, a friend, or a manager, or you saw the opportunity on social media and you're ready to invest in your leadership. As you're putting that in, you could also tell us where you're joining us from. As I mentioned, it's a global community. And as we're doing that, I can do a quick introduction about myself. I'm Emily Wasuna. I'm program manager at the WIA. And I love the work that we get to do, connecting with others who are inspiring women and women who are also doing the work that you do, catalysts and coaches, and everyone that's on this call here today. Alongside me from the WIA team is our head of systems and innovations, Skylar Giesecke. So Skylar's going to wave, and you can see her right there. Skylar's running tech for us today, so many thanks to Skylar. If you have any questions or tech issues, feel free to reach out to her in the chat. So we have a great session planned here for you today. We're going to hear from some of our very own catalysts and a coach as well. And as we're getting ready to start the panel discussion, I want to share our diversity statement. I want to take a moment again to welcome everyone. And by welcoming everyone, I want to welcome all voices, all perspectives, and all experiences. At the WIA, we are a rich and diverse community from different locations all over the world, and we welcome and respect all backgrounds, cultures, and beliefs. We aim to create a space here today where everyone feels able to share and everyone feels included. So feel free and feel comfortable to bring any questions, thoughts, or comments to our conversation today. Feel free to use the chat as the conversation goes. So we're gonna throw up the slides and just go over the agenda of what we have in store for us today. So a quick overview of what we'll be going over. We'll be talking about the WIA and the Empowered Leader Program. We'll get to meet and hear from the panelists who are with us today. We'll also have a Q&A, so you have an opportunity to post any questions that you have to our panelists. And then I will do a quick program overview, share some key program information and details for you. And then I'll share some next steps and some tips for applying to the Empowered Leader program. So if we move into the next slide, I can talk a little bit about the history and mission of the WIA. So we began about 10 years ago as a coaching fellowship, and we are now the Women's Impact Alliance. Jane Finette founded the WIA in response to wanting to provide access to executive level coaching for women in social impact. She saw the incredible transformation in leadership and impact that coaching can provide, and the need for more women to be able to access it. Our global community is focused on supporting women in social impact space who are dedicated to making a difference in the world and on our planet. We do this through whole person leadership development and coaching. We believe that when we work on ourselves, mastering our desires and fears toward the realization of our potential, we open the possibility of transformation and being part of something bigger than ourselves. I'm very excited for you all to hear more about how coaching and our program has been transformational to the women who've gone through this. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our amazing panelists. We have Tara and Dichu on the call with us today. Tara, if you can wave your hand and they can see you. We also have Monase Ahmed, who's on the call with us today. We have Madhvi, okay, who's on the call. And we have our WIA coach, Dr. Sweta Chawla. So Sweta, if you can wave. All right, great. So I will start by posing questions to our coach first, so we can get a better idea of what brought you to WIA. So if you could tell us, why do you volunteer to the WIA, and what does this work mean to you?
Hi everyone, I'm so happy to be here. And I was referred by a friend. She told me she'd been volunteering for WIA for some time, and she always talked about what a fulfilling experience it was. And so when I went on the website and I saw the information about what WIA stands for, I just thought to myself, I really believe in the power of coaching. It's completely transformed my life, and I've seen how it's transformed my clients' life. And when I think about the work that you all are doing, it would be such a privilege to be able to offer these tools and these mindset shifts so that the work that you're doing can really be amplified in a way that's more sustainable. And so I signed on to be on a coach, and I've had quite a few clients already, and it's been a really, really fulfilling experience.
Thank you, Sweta. We appreciate our volunteer coaches, and thank you so much for being part of our community. So to our catalysts, how did you decide to join the Empower Leader program, and how did you know it was the right program for you? So whoever feels compelled to answer first, I welcome you to speak up.
I could go first. Um, Being a female founder and female leader, it's rare for you to find an organization in this patriarchal world which understands the other challenges that we go through, which men don't. For example, we also have hormonal issues, we have parents' responsibilities. So when I saw an organization that actually focuses on women, made by women for women, it was a no-brainer. I knew, and they did fulfill that this is somewhere where it's not just basic leadership training, but fully understanding me as a woman and the challenges I go through both at work and off work that do affect my work and my personality so that I could bring myself out properly. And this program delivered that and a lot more than I expected.
Hi everyone, I'm Wanase. Nice to have you all here. Um, I was told about the Empowered Leader program by an alumni, and I find that whenever women come together to inspire, exchange, learn, grow, and be vulnerable together, there's always incredible impact, connection, learnings, and yeah, mutual inspiration. And I think the other element that I really liked that drew me into the program was the multi-tier, like multifaceted approach, where you get one-on-one support, you get to connect with the other women as well in the ally pods, and you get more in-depth the leader labs. So I really liked that it was a holistic style where you get to learn from each other as well as from the coach and do some deeper work together as well.
So hi everyone, I'm Athi. This program was actually referred to me by a friend of mine. And because I am a mid-career professional, I was going through a lot of questions like what do I want to do next in my career journey, where it is heading. And I was in a self-reflecting mode, and that is where this program came in. For all the right reasons, because that is the time when you are curious about yourself and trying to know if you're doing everything right or not. So I got a champion here for my cause and a community because it made me feel that I'm not alone. There are other people like women and who are on the same journey, and we shared our emotions, our experiences, and learnings. So yeah.
Thank you, Tara, Manase, and Madhvi, for sharing what led you to make the decision to join the ELP. I'd also like to invite you to share how have you grown to understand yourself, your values, your impact, and your leadership through the coaching program.
I can jump in first this time. I think one of the best elements is that there's such great self-analysis, even from just the point of self-reflection, not to sound, it's not scientific, but even through the application, you start asking yourself questions, reflecting on strengths, challenges. I like to call weaknesses growth areas. We all have them. So it's a really great opportunity to start unpacking some of your own questions, aspirations, intentions, which is always a beautiful element of growth, reflection. And I think through the ally pod, you start to see how your leadership skills already come out, how to engage with a diverse group. You start understanding each other's vulnerabilities, learning from each other as well as from the process. I think that accountability of checking in also every 2 weeks and having that time to reflect with your coach, who's a bit of a portal to go deeper into your own thoughts, questions, fears, aspirations, weaknesses. So it's a really beautiful process where you get to better learn yourself, see and appreciate your growth and all that you're doing. Sometimes we don't recognize what we're doing and achieving until we share that, and be able to celebrate your little wins along the way. So those are a few of the elements.
I agree, and I'll add on to what Manasseh said. When I signed up, I came in thinking I need to improve as a leader and move my business from point A to B because it needs to grow and I need to fundraise. So I even remember when we filled in the form of our goals, it was very company related. The surprising thing is we focused more on me as a leader, on my limited beliefs, on the things which as leaders you're scared to voice out because you sound emotional. Those came up. Our fears, we learned things about saboteurs. I don't spoil how much we learned because you'll enjoy the process, but I feel more comfortable in my skin as myself, where I understand my leadership style, understand my limited beliefs, and I'm aware of them so I can catch them, not automatically fix them, but at least catch them and correct myself. And I've learned how to be a leader my style, not trying to fit into anybody's shoes, but my own shoes and grow in my own shoes. And that has been fantastic.
I completely agree with Moniz and then Tara, like about the learnings. They have been actually quite helpful and great as well. Because when you talk about values, initially the like core values and then what is important for you. There was a proper session that I had with my coach where she helped me envision how am I going to be in the next 10 years, which helped me decide like what are my core values, like trust, vulnerability, and other aspects of it. And that is something that was an aha moment also for me, wherein I'm like, I cannot imagine I had fear as well because that was something holding me back from taking challenges too. So this has been a very good thing for me in this program.
Thank you all for sharing. I'd like to talk a little bit about whole person coaching, and Sweta, I'd like to pose this question to you. So, in your opinion, what is unique or special, or some of the benefits about the whole person approach to coaching?
I really appreciated what Tara had shared about it. And I see it very often when we're coaching leaders, especially women, that are in this, again, patriarchal structures that have been mentioned, where so much of the insecurity, the lack of confidence, the imposter syndrome is they believe it's them, but it's really not them. It's that we're in structures and, capitalism and that are designed not for women, especially women of color. So oftentimes, being when we look at the whole coaching approach, it's like we get to really see not only um, wholeness of you, but also wholeness of like how the world operates. And that is really helpful because it depersonalizes some of the insecurities and fears. And when you're able to see like, oh, this is rational based on the environment that we're in, then you start what I see is a coach, she starts to be able to get access to something much deeper, their deeper wisdom, their deeper knowing. And that is what happens when you're connected to the wholeness of who you are. I always say that leadership is not about who you think you should be, it's about who you are. And unfortunately, we, live in a society, even globally, our education system is not designed to help us really connect to who we are deeply, especially like what was mentioned here around, what are your values? And then what I also like to focus on, what are your brilliances and how do you leverage them? How do you advocate for them? How do you talk about them? That's not what most of us have ever had, whether it's in our education system or even training from previous jobs. And so to have a space to be able to not only reflect on that, but I like, connect the dots on your story and your past and how it impacts your leadership and how that makes you unique. That's part of what whole coaching offers.
Thank you so much, Sweta. Um, and I know each of the catalysts kind of touched on this and in the previous question when you answered, but if you could maybe expand a little more on what it is that surprised you the most about your coaching journey, or maybe, your biggest revelation or aha moment along this leadership journey and how you've grown from it.
Um, I think one thing that was incredible was, as you come into each coaching session, there was a template that I was using with my coach that let you reflect on what you've achieved as well as set goals. And it was really up to you how much you wanted to give yourself as homework or what you wanted to share as updates coming into the next session. And I think how much progress, how many things I actually do. There was one element that she asked of me, which was sharing your Friday fives, which is really lovely. It's just taking a moment each Friday and celebrating 5 wins. I think whatever, and it could be personal work, home. So taking that moment to pause and reflect on wins instead of always look at how much we still have to accomplish. Um, and I think another really beautiful element is this coaching program had actually come up for me last year. I didn't quite get to apply on time. And they really say that when the student is ready, the teacher arrives. And then when the student's ready, the teacher goes. And it came in to my life at an incredibly huge transitional period. And just having a portal to reflect and to share in a safe space through that journey, which I believe is it doesn't have to be at a big transition moment because we're ever growing, ever learning, ever adapting. So I think it was incredible timing for me, but also just a beautiful process of being able to further unpack your goals, aspirations, and celebrate even the smallest wins along the way.
I think we have similar stories. So I also was going through a transition in my private life, which honestly shook my confidence in my life. This coaching could not have come at a better time. And I remember we were filling in a form of what would you like in a coach. I don't know how the WIA team did it, but I got the perfect coach for me. Like she was such a perfect fit for the phase of life I was going through, and just how she took me through to where I am now, words cannot describe. And the coaching has a lot of very many good aha moments. But I think what I loved about it most was I was concerned it was going to be another to-do list in my list, like most women have. This became more a reward. Like I was actually looking forward to my session. It's like going for a heart brain spa moment. Like every time my session was coming up, it was exciting and relaxing because I knew, one, I have a cheerleader, two, I have somebody who is going to see things and teach me something new about the same subject in a different way. Like I always came out with my cup filled from every session. And I made an amazing friend who I hope to meet one day. It was an amazing coaching session for me.
As I mentioned earlier as well, and Tara also mentioned, there have been a lot of aha moments during this journey. And I mean, once you know how you are going to lead, and that is where exactly I was faulting. And she helped me to visualize myself. That actually made a great change because it made me more open, less judgmental. And initially, I did not ask for support. She helped me to understand that there is no harm in asking for support. And I actually changed myself. Like I used to have hold a lot of beliefs, self-limiting beliefs, and that we actually learned here also. And that is how it changed me. And I'm still, as Moni's also mentioned, gratitude, achievement, because this is something that we don't do in our daily lives, but it is important to see how we are growing. So, yes.
It is so inspiring, and heartwarming to hear about the transformation and the heartwarming, the aha moments that you've had, and the growth, that you've experienced, in this little time, and how important and how pivotal coaching was, and especially for those in transitional periods. And so Sweta, I'd like to pose back a question to you, reflecting on what we've heard about the transformation that our catalysts have had. As a coach, in your experience, how have you seen transformation in the catalyst when working towards their goals, through a whole person approach?
Yeah, I really and I appreciate everything that I'm hearing from all the participants, and it's incredible because so many of the leaders, they come in and they have an agenda for their goals, and it's as Tara mentioned, it's like I got to raise money, or I got to be strong, I got to be less emotional, I got to, etc. And through coaching, again, because it's a whole, whole person centered, I love that there's even mentioning of like how much my personal life can impact how I show up at work. And I always say you're one person, right? So it's interesting because even if I'll give like a homework assignment with rewards, because it's amazing how many ambitious women do not recognize their own achievements. And, they think they have to keep getting better and better, but just taking that time for the reflection of how they're already showing up. I give them glimmer logs. That's what I call them. And it's amazing just how much they don't even think about the stuff that they do personally, right? They only kind of see like it's only like I'm only accomplishing if I'm reaching these external goals. But when we really look at things from this whole person approach, and so many women, that's actually what they're seeking. At least that's what I see. They want impact, but they also want to, they want their own well-being. They want to have healthy relationships. And when you can take time to see, when you connect to your values, which is about who you are as a person, regardless if it's professionally or personally, and you're able to live into those, it's amazing how much you not only see accomplishments externally, but they feel good about it. And that's the thing that I often see is missed when we're so focused on the ambition and showing up and measuring up for everyone else, but we don't actually take time to see, what's important to us. And I'd say 9 out of 10 times, the goals they come in with are actually not the goals that they're seeking. And most of the times they need a permission slip to really go for what they want or to be able to trust themselves. And, in that container, that little, brave container that I believe we as coaches are required to create, they're able to have those honest conversations with themselves in a very holistic way. And for example, like if I go for, there might be a limiting belief of if I go for what I want, I'm going to let down my family or I'm going to disappoint my company. And taking time to even say that out loud and hear, and really kind of reflect on that from this bigger perspective, and to be able to make the connection that actually when I do step into my own brilliance, it elevates my family. When I'm able to let go and not carry everything and go from hard worker to leader, the people who work for me, my team, they actually feel more ownership and they feel more motivated. It's this paradigm shift that they get to experience where they see that they don't need to sacrifice who they are or what they want for the impact that they want to have.
Thanks, Sweta. And as you were talking of goal setting and how perspective changes once they get into the coaching sessions, I want to hear from Catalyst about how did you decide the goals that you wanted to work towards coming into the program, and then I heard from a few of you that those goals shifted and changed. So how did you address this with your coach? If you could tell us a bit about that.
Some of us who like to speak a lot try and do step up, step back, giving others a chance to go first, while taking our cue when it comes. So I think similar to Tara, I I had extremely not similar, but I had extremely ambitious goals, which is great. And I actually got to do a lot of work within the goals that I set. But sometimes also, as Sweta was explaining, you think that this may be the problem of the working area, and you realize it's actually a whole other layer that you have to unpack to be able to actually achieve a goal you set. For example, just to give a bit of to expand further, one was around finance. And like, as a single mother of two, I do a lot, but always am struggling to make ends meet. And I know that that's beyond me. That's from the struggle of many people. But realizing that this is actually about me and how do I value myself and my time, and unpacking like, where did this come from? And do I have limiting beliefs? Is it something that I've seen since I was young? Am I uncomfortable being able to actually ask for the value I think I deserve? So it just becomes a whole little journey of trying to actually unpack that. And then, what would it look like if I was actually making what I need? And can I think beyond just paying bills and think about, what could actually excel my family's well-being or happiness or fun? Just one topic can kind of expand into such a journey that really allows you to approach it from a more holistic perspective. And then the second thing I would say is, I think the goals, as much as I got to touch on and explore and work through quite a lot of the ones, all of the ones that I set, it's a journey, it's not a destination. So some of this requires consistent, checking in and reflecting and coming back to. It's not linear. But having a great grounding space to come back, ask questions as you go. And I do think they shifted a little bit with like the landscape and also what would come up. So I would want to do something, and I realized there was maybe something else that was holding me back, that wanting to get my professional world, digital world, and online, realizing I don't like self-promotion and self-marketing. So trying to work through different layers that might be blockages, or rather than blockages, areas to further explore. Yeah. So it was quite fluid and adapted throughout.
I agree, and Monas, you've used a beautiful term, fluid. My goals have not changed. I feel like I did give the goals, but my coach helped me to go, let's build the foundation of this house. It's almost like I want this castle, but let's build the foundation. And the foundation was a lot of me and my beliefs. And it was nice because I noticed I was in a timetable that was not even mine. I was rushing, and no one was rushing me. It was me rushing myself. So it was, as we're told, it was me, what's the word? Trying to match up to the world, which wasn't mine. And I was given permission. That's what I was given permission to say, where you running? Just, slow down, look at yourself. What is working for you? What is good for you? So my goals are still there. What I feel is I've built a foundation that is still, I'm still building. I was given at least the key tools to start. So I'm still solidifying it so that as I build the house for this foundation, I mean, for this dreams, it's going to be a lot more steadier than it should have been before, where I was trying to fit into the world, chase the world, try to be what people thought I should be instead of focusing what I needed to be. So even now, I still have the same goals, but I'm looking at them differently. And I'm very open-minded to them being fluid, which before I wasn't. I was very set on this is what has to be done and this is how it has to be achieved. I'm a lot more open-minded, and I love that.
I actually set my goals based on my professional journey because I was in middle of transition to a different job where I held a lot of judgments and I did not know how to approach it. So my goal could be as simple as how to show up in office and how to have difficult conversations with my manager. Over the period of time, they changed drastically to more around how am I showing up in life and what are the aspects that are affecting me. Based on the reflection and WIA questionnaire helped a lot in understanding where I started from and where I went. So yes, that has been journey around setting goals for myself. And they're still changing, they're very dynamic. So yes, it is more situational. Sometimes they stay steady as well, but they change as well based on the need.
Thank you all for sharing. And as we're talking about that, I do want to give our coach who's on the call an opportunity, to share. How would you encourage someone who's listening today to evaluate or know that they are ready for coaching?
Oh,
So
such a good question. It's what I've just seen in my own journey and the many people that I've coached over a decade plus, the readiness around coaching. I personally think that obviously, as been mentioned here, when you're in a transition or, you're feeling kind of really like stuck, or maybe you are shifting into a new role, or you're just feeling like you want to have a new experience of how you have, how you of leadership and how you work, those are definitely good times. But honestly, I really believe that there's never a wrong time for coaching. As mentioned before, and as shared by so many of the participants here, I love the example of like it feels like a heart brain spa. And so many of us, if we were to use self-care as an example, it's like we wait till we're depleted before we actually, will invest in getting support for ourselves. Yet, if you look at some of the greatest leaders in the world, whether it's presidents, or athletes, or people who have really are leading in a very high level, they always have a coach and a team around them. It's having the support that helps you to be able to elevate to be who you need to be to serve others, which I know that's what you all are here for. So personally, I think there's never a wrong time to have a coach. Obviously, you want to have time to have, seasons so that you can integrate and really apply what you gain from your coaching experience. But, I've been a coach myself for 12 years, and I always have a coach throughout the year. And of course, like as I mentioned, I do take some breaks just so that I can integrate myself. But when it comes to if you do sign up for coaching and like how do you approach it in a way so that you can gain the most out of it, I love the word fluid that was shared here. We oftentimes we come in again with this belief of who I think I need to be able to reach those goals. And if you kind of allow yourself like maybe unhinge from how you're supposed to get there, because that's the thing that I think shifts the most for a lot of coachees is that the how is what gets in the way, whether it's they don't know the how or they can't see how, like they don't believe they can do the how. And in a coaching space, it's an opportunity to be open-minded, to be curious, to allow for creative solutions that you never even imagined to kind of, come up from the veil. Also, it's an opportunity to be able to look at things differently, having those perspective shifts. And so you have to be open-minded to be able to gain the most out of coaching. But more than anything, I really think it's about being willing to show up for yourself and knowing that it's not a selfish act, that the more you actually give to yourself, it will ripple out to all the people that you're here to impact, whether it's personal or professionally.
thank you, Sweta. I do have a question for our catalysts. As recent graduates of the program, we are curious to know what areas of growth are you currently working on and how has coaching helped you navigate them? We heard there we have some folks who are in transition periods. So just if you could share with us a little more where you are.
So yes, as I mentioned, I was in a still tail end of a transition period, and this coaching came at the perfect time. Um, I'm even looking for the words to say. I cannot compare where I was last year before we started in August to where I am now. And it's changed not just my mindset, but my attitude and how I view myself and how I view other people based on this whole program. It's not just the coaching, which was the cherry on top. It's also the ladies I met in this program, the ladies in my pod, and sharing stories with each other and listening to everybody's struggles and supporting each other, to the classes we had, the leadership classes, learning things about ourselves. It was beautiful. So I'm appreciative because I am definitely a better person today than I was at the beginning of this program.
What areas am I still working on? Well, I do believe and am fully aware that I am an eternal work in progress. So I think one of the biggest things with habits you're trying to build or practices you're trying to unlearn or exploring new ways of showing up or leading or integration of new ideas, um, as mentioned, nothing is linear. And I think being able to be patient if something falls off for a moment that you were trying to do, or if you find yourself still asking the same questions of, combining. I am one who will spend like almost my whole day, week, month doing things for the betterment of those around me in the community without putting my needs first, to the point that it actually, really it's very unsustainable. So it's a continuous process to see, okay, how do I balance, finance and social impact and passion? And so just being able to ask yourself better questions, and make decisions from a more holistic perspective. There's still elements that I'm integrating when it comes to, when we talked about goals and changing landscape. There was a point where I was like, I feel like I need to figure out AI. I think I'm the last person who's not using it. And so my coach was like, all right, well, take my coaching hat off a little bit and tell you how I use it, and you can see what you may want to integrate or not. So coming back to that and exploring it, and so there's a lot that I think it changes your perspective, and it's worth taking that time to go back through maybe the Leader Lab notes, and seeing, how have I been looking at my saboteurs, or what are my limiting beliefs. So I feel like the lessons, the learnings, it continues to show up. You continue to build on it as you keep evolving, and there's no. I think one thing that is also important to note and share is the coaches are so understanding. Maybe from one week to the next, you had set an intention of something you wanted to work on and come back and share. And we're human and things come up, whether or not you had a good reason or not, knowing that you can show up as you are. And even the times where you didn't get to put in as much, pre work, or uh, knowing that that's a part of being a leader, part of being a woman, part of being a mother, is accepting when things work and also don't always go according to plan, continuing to move forward. So, yeah, I think the journey is ongoing, but it was an incredible, deep, personal experience, and great to give ourselves permission to take the time and put the resource towards that journey.
Um, Even I have a very similar experience as mentioned by both the catalysts. But yes, it's an ongoing journey, and it's more around identifying your patterns, how you're reacting to certain situations that were there in your past and are still there, and what different can you do. Because I have been someone who has been more overly cautious. That doesn't lead me to taking action. So now it's more action oriented, and it's more around, yes, building habits in your daily life that can actually daily basis that helps you to show up the next day with a clear mind and a blank slate. So that is more around these things. And yes, it's a very ongoing journey. You always reflect, learn, and then again try, show up for yourself with a compassion this time, and not allowing that voice that you're not doing enough. So yes, that's how it is.
Thank you all so much for sharing. I would like to give you a minute or so if you have any closing remarks that you'd like to give before we transition into question and answer, where we'll give opportunity to the audience to pose any questions. So, any last words that you'd like to share? This is your opportunity.
I would tell any person thinking about applying, this is one of the best investments you can make for yourself. This is a gift you give yourself. The learnings, the love, the support, the everything you get from this program is worth your time, commitment, energy, and it's not something you'll regret. If anything, I think we'll all agree. You feel very sad when it ends.
Absolutely. I think I really resonate with what Tara said earlier, and a friend of mine was also recently talking about, which is this dedicated space and time about every 2 weeks. And that's just for the one on one coaching, where someone is there just for you, to listen to you, to support you, to hold you, to give you ideas, to reflect. And it's a lot of, they have no specific expectation. You're on no tight time schedule during that time. It's just a chance for you to unpack, explore, reflect, share, be vulnerable. And that's incredible. We have friends, we have family, we have work partners, but someone who's really just there to be on your team, no matter what the day or the week looks like or the task that's ahead. And we all deserve that. I think also, just through the application process, it's already a beautiful step towards getting to know yourself better, reflecting, learning. And I think if you're ready to give a bit more focused time to allow yourself to grow, to feel, and to keep evolving, it's a beautiful, safe, and inspiring space to do it. And I think the ally pods, where you get paired up with around 8 women from all over, and you get to share experiences, challenges, unpack the learnings, um, yeah, show up as yourselves, and understand the similarities between these different leaders, no matter, as well as the differences. It's a beautiful way of learning from each other, and I think every leader lab was an aha moment, which is also really incredible, great coaching, and just beautiful what um, learnings that are made so accessible, interactive, and I think we all deserve to go through. So yeah, I wish you all the best if you do go ahead with the program, and sending love and courage from Kenya.
I joined it with curiosity and more around what next. It turned out to be I'm happy that I joined it also, and I found a community with like with the Ally Pod and coach as well. Uh, it helped me to understand myself better. And if anyone who is looking for answers or doesn't know where do they belong right now, and even if they're just curious what is happening in their life, WIA community is one of the place, and has been that place because you've got a champion, and then sometimes it is always better to have someone who can validate your thought, or even if they can tell that no, you are thinking in a very different direction, and that is what this place has been, that brings you back to home and tells you that this is right, this is wrong, and this is something you can change. So you have that power within you. So yes, that's the thing.
And I'll just share, a little secret that you may have not ever heard when it comes to leadership, which is if you really want to be a good leader, you need to learn how to receive. And having space to develop yourself, having connection to community and personalized support of a coach is the perfect recipe for you to be able to really live into your potential, which I know all of you can feel inside of you that there's more for you to give and do. And what if that could be easier than you imagined, right? So not being held back by, I have, I have these big dreams, I have these big visions, but what it takes to get there feels so overwhelming that either I won't do it or I will burn myself out on the way. But if you're able to receive and learn how to lead in this new way, going from the hard worker to true leadership, it's incredible what not only will you do for yourself, what you'll do for your organizations, but what the ripple effect of what that does for all women, all people of color who are in systems that are not designed for themselves. Um, this kind of a program, this kind of support helps you to move beyond those systems and really step into what I call your true creative power. And so you deserve that. So I really hope that you give this to yourself.
Thank you all for those wonderful closing remarks. I want to open it up to our audience. If there are any questions that you might have for our panel, please feel free to come off of mute. If you want to come on camera too, that would be nice. But feel free to come off of mute or throw your question in the chat and we can read it out to the panelists. So this is an opportunity to hear from a coach and also from people who have been through the program as well. So. I'm okay sitting in uncomfortable silence if we if that allows people to yeah. Great, Skylar. Yes, this is your chance. Lean into curiosity. Yes, silence is a leadership skill.
Do you want me to take that one, Emily?
Yes, please, Skylar.
Sure. So it varies as far as like from cohort to cohort. It varies how many applications we tend to receive. On average, we get anywhere between 150 to 250 applications a program is pretty typical. And if you have any follow-up questions to that, Stina, just let us know as well.
All right.
I see Pam has her hand raised as well.
Hi, good morning, Pam. Thank you, ladies, for giving us your time to share all about this wonderful program. I'm really happy to learn about it more, and I'm just curious for this program. Well, personally, I'm starting a new nonprofit, and I'm curious if that I'm a fit for this program, or you're looking for somebody that already has a little bit of experience, because mine is just brand new and I don't have any nonprofit experience yet.
Do you want me to start with that one off, Emily? I see Tara has her hand up too, like I got this one, I got this one. So if you want to, Tara, go right ahead. I'll piggyback off of you when you're done.
I think you'll do the more technical part. I'll do the more
Yep, that sounds
personal part. This program will fit. I think you're even at the perfect place because having this program now will help you lay the right foundation for yourself as a leader of this nonprofit, where you already can decide the culture you want to bring into the organization because you've brought out your values out of yourself so that you can set yourself as a leader and the values you want to set, which sets the culture. So if anything, I think you're the perfect time to take this. Skylar, I can pass it on to you.
Absolutely. I would 100% agree with Tara. So one of the things that we look for like in an application to make an application strong is that there has been action taken towards those founding or starting this organization. So if your organization is less than 3 months old, that might flag it and kind of go, is this established enough to be really valuable right now? Is the timing right? If it's older than 3 months and you nodded, it sounds like it's really, really, really new. I would just be very clear about your history of impact. Because we also look at impact potential. Do you have a history of working in the impact space? Do you have a proven track record of this is your passion, this is your vision, this is kind of where you function, it'll be more likely than that we would consider a very brand new organization. And the reason we kind of hesitate some with those really, really, really new endeavors is because sometimes there's so much chaos and so much happening in those first few months that it's really hard to truly apply what you're taking out of coaching. And Sweta, you might have something more to share with this too. But sometimes it can be really hard in those first couple of months of something very brand new with all that chaos to truly take away the deepest meaning or the deepest learnings from coaching. Sometimes that chaos just kind of detracts from it. We look at 6 months or longer being kind of that sweet spot, starting right about 5 or 6 months into a new endeavor. Now, one thing I would encourage you to consider, though, is that although the program starts now, coaching won't start till November. So, by the time November rolls around, you're going to have been in this role for several more months, and that's something that we would consider as well. I don't know if you want to add to that, Sweta, from a coach's perspective as far as those brand new kind of big role shifts, but
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of the language that's been used in this whole entire conversation is around foundations and having the support to be intentional with how you want to approach and how you want to build your company that's based on your whole person, your true values. And not just, again, like what you want to achieve personally, but even professionally, taking that into consideration as well. Having that kind of support at the beginning so that and things will change, things will always change. But I think it's a lot more work to build something based on how you think you should be versus what you really want to build. And a program like this and that time for coaching can give you space to reflect on that in a guided way because it's not always so easy to do on your own.
Thank you guys. That was very helpful. Thank you.
great question, Pam.
Sorry, just to add on, also as a female founder who set up on my own, that extra support is so important because you're doing everything. You are the business, you are the marketer, you're the financer, you're the HR. So just having a cheerleader on your side is priceless.
And to that, even I want to add, this will actually help you to interact with, let's say, funding agencies. I'm really not sure about your venture, but funding agencies, bureaucracy, administration, because this is something that even this from like my coach helped me to understand how I can approach such situations where I have to deal with bureaucracy and politicians at the same time and take a standing that no, this is the right step that you have to do. So that will help you, and plus their expertise in the area.
Thank you all so much for your questions and for everyone on the panel for leaning in and answering Pam's question. For the sake of keeping us on time and making sure that we leave at the proper time, feel free if you have any questions to drop them in the chat and we'll answer them. But I do have a few program details that I want to share. So if we could pull up the slides and I could go over. All right. So the Empowered Leader Program is a fully integrated 9-month leadership development program. And I want to assure that the program is designed with leaders such as yourself who are possibly juggling many different things in mind. And it is also really important to consider the commitment of the program and think honestly about if you're ready to invest and if you're able to invest the time that it takes to show up fully to each aspect of the program. This program is completely virtual and highly interactive, and it is designed to expand your leadership skills and accelerate your growth. And we do this through 12 hours of one-to-one coaching with an expert coach. Coaching is a significant part and a core component of the Empowered Leader Program. And accepted participants are paired with an experienced coach, such as Sweta, who are vetted professional leadership coaches who work with you towards your goals, focus areas, and challenges. We also have peer-to-peer ally pods, as you've heard, as you've heard mentioned by our panelists as well. So the pods are an opportunity to leverage your learning and foster meaningful relationships through the shared experience that will last far beyond the program. Another element of this program is Leader Labs. So we do offer 6 Leader Labs where we provide leadership development tools, models, and practices. These sessions are highly interactive, they're live workshops, and they're held over Zoom and are also a core part of the program. The course of the global community spans over or nearly 2,000 women who are leaders in the impact space. We have great ways for you to connect through a private Slack channel and a confidential WIA Catalyst directory. We also have other ways for you to stay connected through our virtual events, workshops, leadership development opportunities and leadership development opportunities for alumna as well. On average, the monthly time commitment for this program for you to fully participate is about 4 to 5 hours. So keep this in mind as you're applying. And please be sure to look over all this information on the website. The website does offer a lot more details, and watch any previous informational sessions that we held to get more details on the program itself, the program requirements, the cost, and tips for applying. A recording for the session will also be sent out to you as well, so you can rewatch it if you want to catch these details as well. So I want to talk about the application process. This, again, like the program, is all fully online. It takes about 1 to 2 hours to complete, and the deadline for application is August 8th, 2025. Applications are typically open for about 8 weeks and are followed by a rigorous month-long selection process that includes 3 intensive phases in which all applications are reviewed by a minimum of at least 3 separate members of our selection committee. Our selection committee consists of more than 30 WIA coaches, alumna, team members, board members, and partners as well. All applications are assessed for current and potential impact, readiness for coaching, and program and mission alignment. If you do apply for the program, and we do hope to see your application, please know that you will be informed on September 22nd, 2025, and you will have time to complete this confirmation process and begin the program on October 6th, 2025. I did want to share some tips for applying, but we can share that through email, or I can quickly go over that as well. I think I do have a few minutes, so let me go through that. So some tips for applying. Please make sure that your responses to your application are thoughtful. This program is an investment in you. We look for leaders who demonstrate commitment through personal development and a willingness to invest the time and energy required. Application responses that are well developed and reflect clear, careful thought and can demonstrate your investment in your growth as a leader. Current and potential impact, make sure that this stands out as well. We're looking for applicants who have already begun taking steps towards their impact and leadership goals and have a clear vision of the change they would like to see in the world. Our mission at the WIA is empowering young women leaders in building a new world, and we want to see your vision for this new world reflected in your application. Another tip that I can share with you is coaching readiness, and really coaching readiness can be can be summed up as a willingness to take action or responsibility for your own development. Coaching readiness is the degree to which you as a leader are open, motivated, and committed to the coaching process and the desired outcomes. This is shown as an eagerness to learn, grow, and change. Another tip I could share is the receptiveness and self-awareness. So something else we look for is, how do you show up in challenging situations, and what does growth look like for you? Coaching is an experience in self-reflection and vulnerability. I think you've heard from our panelists that they shared today. So to get the most from coaching, you have to be willing to be flexible, courageous, vulnerable, and I'd also say a word that's been mentioned here, fluid. We're looking for applicants who are able to demonstrate self-awareness, courage, and vulnerability, and a willingness to leverage feedback for personal growth. And lastly, and I think possibly equally importantly, or if not more, we're looking for passion and authenticity. So the video submission is a great way for you to do this. We were able to see, get the energy from you on video. We encourage you to be yourself, and if you do choose to record a video for your application, again, we want to see your energy, excitement, curiosity around the impact you believe you're making and the leader that you see yourself as. I hope that those are helpful tips for you as you complete your application or as you continue to complete your application. As I said, this will be shared out to you in a follow-up email in case you're not able to catch all of that. So thank you for being here. I'm going to quickly wrap up. I feel like I've been talking forever, but it really hasn't been that long. So thank you again to each of our panelists. We are eternally grateful for you being here and volunteering your time and being willing to share your insight, wisdom, and experience with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And to all of you who were here with us today as well, thank you for being here and for all the work that you're doing in the world, for your commitment to your leadership and growth. And you being here alone is a great example of that. We'll send out, as I said, a recording to this in a fast track code for your application, which will help your application pass the first round of selection. As we close out today's session, I want to invite you to share in the chat one word and how you're leaving here today. And we will also share in the chat the link for how you can apply. So one word, yes. Encouraged, inspired. Let's see, motivated. All right. These are great words. Excited, excited. Thanks for the link, Skylar. Quick question. When is the next cohort still in development? The next cohort will begin recruiting in January of 2026. And the program will start around May 2026. Excited, empowered. Wow. To our panelists, I invite you to come off of mute and share your one word. Skylar, too.
Grateful.
Honored.
I'm gonna steal who did I see right that Pam's is inspired, and that's the one that I'm kind of landing on as well.
Grateful.
Enlightened. Yeah. Grateful and enlightened. Yes.
Awesome.
And my word is encouraged. We have so many women leaders who are ready to invest in their leadership. And maybe for the next cohort, one of you will be on the panel sharing your experience. So thank you again for being here. We'll share this information out to you. And thanks once again to our panelists for being here with us today. Bye, everyone. Take care.
Bye, guys. So good to have you on the call today.
Good to see you.